What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Celtics Daily with me, Mike Zakarian, with another edition of breaking down everything that's going on with the Beantown Boys. Before we get started, though, do me a favor, like the video, hit the little notification bell, and hit the subscribe so you know when the Celtics content is dropping. Now, we're not starting specifically with the Boston Celtics, but it's a guy from New England, so that counts a little bit, right? The Maynard Cooper Flag has announced that he is going to be foregoing his sophomore, junior, and senior season at Duke University to head into the NBA draft, even though there was a lot of rumblings, which again was just noise. I don't think whenever someone is guaranteed to be the first overall pick, I promise you, they're going to their draft instead of coming back as a 19-year-old sophomore on a college campus. I know they got that NIL money now, but it's not enough. He's going to be the first overall pick. It's the NBA. Cooper Flag is on his way. And they did all of the coin tosses, all of the flips. We now have a feel for what the lottery draft odds are going to look like. They still haven't decided when the ping pong balls are going to be announced, so we'll find that out soon. But so far, here we go. We've got the Utah Jazz, the Washington Wizards, and the Charlotte Hornets, all with the best odds at 14% to land the number one overall pick. After that, it drops a little bit, and God, do they need some help. The New Orleans Pelicans have a 12.5%, somebody to pair up with Zion and their new ownership, or not ownership, leadership there in the front office for the Pelicans. And then the season from hell from the Philadelphia 76ers. They tanked aggressively at the end behind Podcast P, Joel Embiid's knee, and the smile that slowly faded from Tyrese Maxey. They have a 10.5% chance to completely flip their fortune and save both Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse's butt to grab Cooper Flag. And then the Brooklyn Nets, who somehow did not end up in the top three in this one, they have a 9% chance. The Raptors, we the North, a 7.5%, and then it drops to 6% for the San Antonio Spurs. Can you imagine Wembanyama, Cooper Flag, the soon-to-be Rookie of the Year in Stephon Castle, and then adding De'Aaron Fox, who they got right before the trade deadline? That could be dangerous. And then what is wild? The Houston Rockets have a 3.8%. Excuse me, no, yeah, the Phoenix Suns technically have a 3.8% chance to land our guy Cooper Flag. However, that pick actually goes to Houston. So the Houston Rockets, who right now are in a dogfight in the first round of the playoffs, still have an outside shot at getting Cooper Flag. And then it goes down to the Portland Trailblazers have a 3.7 chance, and then the Dallas Mavericks, who has turned into an absolute dumpster fire, have a 1.8% chance, then the Bulls, then the Kings, and then rounding it out with the Atlanta Hawks. So we'll have to wait and see where Cooper Flag lands. It really does seem like he could be one of those franchise-type players, an altering type player. He seems to be able to score the ball if you need him to score. He can play multiple positions. He's got some ball handling abilities. He can knock down the three. He can defend. He can do a little bit of everything. So Cooper Flag could be one of those guys that just like adjusts a franchise right away. And who knows? Maybe after his rookie deal's done, the guy from Maine wants to come home. Let's get him in a Beantown shirt. Let's get him in the Celtic green, baby. We know his family would like that. His mom's on the record being a diehard Celtics fan. So Cooper Flag, come on, baby. Come home. Come home. Let's talk some awards finalists here. And Peyton Pritchard, really our only guy that has an opportunity. And it kind of nuts for the Celtics to be the 60-win team, the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, having all of these major key components to a successful team, multiple All-Stars, and still only one finalist, and that's the 6th man of the year. And honestly, by the time you see this video, we might actually know who is going to be the 6th man, because it's getting announced tonight on TNT at 8 o'clock, I believe. And here are the finalists. We have Peyton Pritchard, okay? We've got Ty Jerome from the Cleveland Cavaliers, which luckily voting ended before the end of the regular season, because otherwise you would have saw Ty Jerome drop 28 points against the Miami Heat in Game 1, Round 1. And then we have Malik Beasley from the Detroit Pistons, who honestly has been off to a pretty good start here for the Pistons in the first round against the Knicks. But Peyton Pritchard, I think, is going to be the slight betting favorite, and I hope he gets to take it home, because the Celtics need to be rewarded at least a little bit here. You look at the MVP finalists, it was Giannis, SGA, and Jokic. I imagine Tatum was right there, number 4, but is not considered a finalist. You have the most improved player is Cade Cunningham, which is dumb. You can't be the number 1 overall pick and then winning most improved. Come on, bro. But then Dyson Daniels and Zubac, the defensive player of the year. No Celtics mentioned there. We got Dyson Daniels, Draymond, come on, and Evan Mobley. the clutch player of the year, even though Tatum insanely clutched this entire regular season, even though people don't like to give Tatum credit for being clutch. It's between Brunson, Ant-Man, and Jokic. Coach of the year, our guy, our psycho guy, Joe Mazzulla, did not make a finalist. It's Kenny Atkinson, JB Bickerstaff, and Ime Udoka. And then I think that's it. I think we covered most of the major awards there. But again, Peyton Pritchard. Well, first of all, Peyton Pritchard, congrats, man. You had one of the best bench like performances I've seen from like a six-man type caliber guy. Maybe of my entire lifetime. He was incredible, just an absolute flamethrower off the bench, going nuts. So could carry a team. We even saw it in game one where he dropped 19 points off the bench, where Tatum and Jaylen Brown were struggling. PP stepped up. So let's get Peyton Pritchard some hardware, because somebody on this Celtics team needs to get recognized. And if nobody does, the only cure for that is a championship. And what a nice little chip on the shoulder if nobody wins anything, right? We're like, what, are you me? You're not going to give me an award? 60 wins, defending champs, run through the East again? There we go. Use that. Put that, like Belichick would be putting that up on the billboard. We need some billboard material, right? So let's go. Let's go, Peyton Pritchard. Let's get that one. I wanted to do a little bit more here on this round one matchup, and just kind of forecasting a little bit into the second and third round. Drew Holiday, the more I've been thinking about it, the more it seems like he is going to be like truly the X factor. Yes, there's Jaylen Brown's knee, which I don't know. I thought looked okay. I thought that looked okay. Porzingis, of course, he can always pick up an injury here and there. He's pretty good at doing that, but like knock on wood, that's not going to be the case. We know Tatum is going to do what he's going to do. Derek White's going to have those 30-point games. We know what we have from our soon-to-be sixth man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, off the bench. But Drew Holiday, you kind of saw the flip switch in that first game, right? Celtics kind of looked like they got punched in the mouth a little bit in that second quarter. It looked like they had Mortal Kombat, and just kind of like waiting to get finished or something. They come out in the third quarter, they get a little bit more aggressive, but it was behind the intensity of Drew Holiday. He came out and you don't need too much offensively from him. You don't. And he hit a couple of threes, some big threes, some in transition, where with some of those like no, 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 yes, when he was taking those shots. But if he is able to level up that intensity of defense, I really do think that is where the ceiling of the Celtics lies, right? And I know Drew had a little bit of a down year in the regular season, but I don't care about that. If he's starting to get a little bit older, right? Had to apply some Ben Gay, some icy hot, right? Wanted to save it for the postseason. Maybe he's been having some conversations with Al Horford, being like, "Hey, man, you don't have to do this 82 games a year. Well, you just need to be ready in April." But it really was the tale of like two halves almost, with the level of intensity on defense and even just the execution on offense. You're just like Drew almost went out there and reminded people like, "Hey, this is playoff basketball. We got to go." And if you see that level, I do think the Celtics can unlock another title run. I thought one of the most impressive parts about this, rewatching some of Game One, Drew Holiday's just straight up covering Paolo Banchero. Paolo is like LeBron built. You know what I'm saying? He's like that big, big forward who can still handle the ball, get to his spots. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna put our guard on you. And he did a good job. I know Paolo still went off, but he still made Paolo work. Those were some tough, tough turnaround fadeaway jump shots that he was going to have to knock down in order to get there. And it was, I don't know, I just thought it was a pretty impressive performance. And it did just remind me that you are going to need Drew Holiday to be your lead guard or defending guard when you start thinking about the second round, which could be the New York Knicks in a Jalen Brunson matchup. It could be the Detroit Pistons in a Cade Cunningham matchup. And not to get too ahead of ourselves, but you look at what the Cleveland Cavaliers have done in that first game, where you see Darius Garland, I believe, went for 30-plus points. Donovan Mitchell went for 30-plus points. And Ty Jerome went for 28 points. That's their three lead guards making up like 85 points or something like that in game one. Now, granted, that's the Miami Heat and the defensive tenacity of one Tyler Hero. So that's a little bit different than when you're taking on the Celtics. But if you are going to throw that three-headed guard monster at you in an Eastern Conference Finals, you are going to need Drew Holiday to be able to lock up or at least slow down those guys. And yeah, like Tatum and Brown are still really good, versatile wing defenders that can be switched 1 through 5 essentially. But Drew Holiday is going to be, I think, the ceiling. Of course, Porzingis and Jaylen Brown's health. But if you took the health factor out of it, I guess we should add Tatum's health to this, although the x-ray came back clean on the wrist, so that's a good sign. But if you take the health X factor, put it over to the side, I think it is Drew Holiday. I think you kind of know what you're getting from everybody else. Drew Holiday, we need that lockdown defender. That's what we need heading into the later rounds. Not to overlook the Orlando Magic, but bro, I'm overlooking the Orlando Magic. Let's get to the last segment of the night, and this is some recency bias, recency news. It was the Bing Bong Boys. The New York Knicks drop game two, and it was a similar story from game one where it got a little feisty. The Pistons got up early in the third, had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, and then Jalen Brunson just chipping away, gets the game close down the stretch, and then Dennis Ice Water in his veins Schroeder hits a big three, a big free throw, the big three, and then a big free throw the next trip down to secure the W. And now that series is 1-1. And this is a Celtics Daily show. We're going to be covering the Boston Celtics. And why is this good for the Boston Celtics? Because I would love to see whoever wins this series to have to play 7 games before they get to Boston. Let's have them beat themselves up a little bit, you know? I want Brunson and Hart to just be sore and tired, OG and Anunoby exhausted from chasing Cade Cunningham around. And if it's the Pistons that come through, that's fine too. Let's get Duran sleepy. Let's get Cade exhausted from just the OG slaps as he's going into the lane. But that series is 1-1. They get to go back. Now Detroit, like, steals home court. You get to go back to Detroit at 1-1, and I think that's going to be a fun series. I still think ultimately the Knicks prevail. But as a Celtics fan, I'm just get tired. Just get nice and tired. That's all I'm looking for here. Celtics don't play again until April 23rd, tomorrow night. So tonight we do have 3 games, which is a lot of fun, and there are no Celtics games, so you can kind of just chill and have a good time with it. We get to find out if Damian Lillard's going to play in Game 2 for the Milwaukee Bucks. Are the LeBron Lakers going to respond after getting punched in the mouth by the Minnesota Timberwolves? And I'm forgetting what the third game is off the top of my head, but it's also going to be early in the day. So that's not good analysis, but that's what we have. We do have 3 games tonight. And then the Celtics will be back tomorrow. And then again, you know what the one thing you can root for tonight? Peyton freaking Pritchard. Let's get him that 6th Man of the Year award. Appreciate y'all watching the Celtics Daily. Do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the content, and we are looking forward to seeing you next time when we're talking about the Celtics being up 2-0.